Jess Juntunen here with you live every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. And thank you so much for joining in today. It is an honor and a privilege, as always, to be here with you for another fantastic day of soul forward living, radiant wellness, and just living our best lives, right? So, guys, I'm coming to you from a different work location in my house, and hopefully my new cat, she does okay with this situation. But if you hear anything or she makes a visit, that's Theo. We'll see. So today is a big day because so much is happening this week. Always at Soul Fusion Cafe, love talking about what's going on energetically right now, things you might be noticing, experiences, just tapping into, yeah, there's a bigger picture at play, right? There's a bigger picture happening and more is going on than meets the eye, right? And this helps us have that touchstone that we remember, oh yeah, there's more going on, because we can get stuck. We can get easily sucked into the magnetic appeal of what's going on in the world out there. But that's all kind of like going to the movies, right? It's the 3D game show. It's like going to a movie and being hypnotized and getting sucked in, and then you come out and go, oh, where am I? What's going on? It's that moment to say, hey, let's not get hypnotized by what's going on out there in the density world, but let's really tap into what's happening within our own inner world so that we can create the new world we want to see, because there's really nothing left for us to get from the the density realm. I mean, yes, we're here to help and support all who are ready to lift, but to go into it to the point of losing ourselves or losing connection with ourselves, then we're not helping anybody or anything, and that's all fine. You can go play in it. It's a playground. Density 3D, that's a playground, and it's part of the experience of being here. That's something that we have to learn, to be in balance, but to not get pulled in and mesmerized by the dramas that are happening and the chaos. And in the same time, to really just witness and know that this is a catalyst. This is a moment of ascension for everybody on the planet right now, that we are being invited to pay attention. We are being invited to say, yes, we are being invited to step forward into the new era. And you said you wanted to be here for this. This is a moment that all beings agreed to and wanted to be here. And I know there may be times on your journey that you say, maybe I chose wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have come here. Why did I come here? But you wanted to, and your soul knew the way. And absolutely, you knew without a doubt that this was the moment you wanted to be here for, because we're awakening, right? And something inside you said, I wanted to support this in my way. And that's the important thing, is what's your way? We can get really caught up in what's the right way to do something. What's the right way to, follow our spiritual path? What's the right way to, look for a job or a lover or a relationship, and we really have to stop looking to all the outside experts or authorities and trust our own inner authority. And that's a big moment. This is the In-Lion-Ment moment. And this is a big In-Lion-Ment hour. And I just love this topic because it is part of my mission for coming here, is to help others come into their own greater alignment. And by alignment, I mean literally spelt like A hyphen lion, Lion, hyphen ment, ment, Alignment, alignment, right? When we come into greater alignment, we talk about this a lot in energy work or yoga and new age talk and all these different fields of thought and energy. It's like we come into alignment, right? That the alignment is that alignment within that awakens and births through the awakened heart, through the energy of Avesa, the energy of Avesa, that ignites this greater expansion in the divine galactic blueprint that we are. And this opens a 12-pointed system from the heart up and allows us to um, gain greater access to wisdom. It allows us to really be in our awakened, ascended presence and carry and hold the body of form and enjoy the body of form and enjoy this beautiful world of form and the way of bringing the gift of our true self in nature. It's about remembering who we really are and standing in that truth and no longer doubting it, no longer hiding, and plenty are going to hide or doubt, and that's okay too. We don't chase them. That's the lion doesn't chase, and a lot of the lessons that I've been studying and have been gifted to revisit through my own mentors and teachers, Sri Ramka and Kirara, the Monday Magic series that has been going on. It's a gift of service to the world, and we come together and study these lessons that were delivered by ascended beings for humanity. And many of these messages were delivered 15 years ago or more, or 10 years ago. There's different series, and these would be delivered once a month in these messages that are so pure that they're about 10 pages. You can read them all for free at shriankira.com. Under the messages from the masters, there's all these series. Well, we've been doing one series at a time, and they used to come out once a month when these were sold, and now we're revisiting them, and each week we are reading one. And the revisit and the unlocking and the energies that are present for right now that were in those messages delivered then, that's what's mind-blowing. And ever since we started this journey last year, the messages that have been coming forward in a lot of these is about the lion coming out, the In-Lion-Ment, the Ascena, the lost book of the Ascene talks about this a lot, but so do all these other ensoulments. Living an Ascended Life, the series we're doing now, is talking about the alignment, and it's blowing my mind because right back in 8/8, 2020, I started a global program with Sri Ramka and Master Lady Kirara, and we birthed Women Wellness Awakenings, WWA Global. And right now, as we're speaking, if you're on this live call, the website's about to go live, wwaglobal.com. Bookmark it, go to it, because you're going to see so much that's there. But this journey started last August. It started before that really, but when we came together with a group of beings that said yes to a journey and home study experience that was live, that you can still take, go to wwaglobal.com or go to my site, selfascensionstudios.com, and you can find out how to be part of that journey. But also the upcoming summit and virtual experience that's happening on the equinox of March, which to me really feels like the new year, the new era, the opening of so much. And we've just been getting ready for that. So back on 8/8, that was the Lion's Gate, and that's a very profound time that a lot of astrologers are familiar with and know about. And the lion energy birthing is the divine feminine that's been building on the planet, but has been birthing, and we have been birthing with her and tapping into that divine feminine energy ever more. And this goes beyond gender. This is about tapping into that harmonious place of balance, of giving and receiving and being the empowered presence. It's no longer time to hang back and hide our gifts. It's time to stand forward. If that's been your call and you're here for a greater purpose, and that you want to help and assist humanity, we're all being activated, and everyone's being activated in every way. It's just whatever level of consciousness we're at. And it's a profound, interesting time. We have to stay the course. We have to have that tenacity to keep walking forward. Steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust, the framework of self-ascension, the framework of support. And that tenacity, we have to keep saying yes, because there's moments we're getting challenged, right? And how does the empowered one react when they are challenged, right? And notice that's more of a response, right? When you're in your empowered place, you respond. It's more of a detached presence. You are watching, you are witnessing, you have compassion and love, but you're not being pulled by that magnetics. And how often are you actually finding yourself diving in and aligning with the more coarse frequencies that are a little more dramatic? They feel ouchy, pain, grief, suffering, anger. These are not things that we really try to ascend from or away from in self ascension, but we greet those energies when they are present and recognize when are coming forward, and really listen and allow ourselves to receive the gift of healing through those those moments where we are the human, we are experiencing, but to not get stuck and frozen in those emotions or energies, because they're very coarse, and you can get stuck and sucked in, right? I mean, I can think of how many times depression for me was a dance I did for almost all of my life, right? And that feeling of being in the hole, that just reminds me of utter density, just being stuck down there and knowing you wanted to get out, but also maybe not, because that would be hard. And this is easier and known. That's density, right? It's easier, it's known, just stay stuck here, and people rooting in. So there's so much of that absolutely going on. So remembering that, like, so many beings are working things through, but as we stand in the miracle presence of our mastery of being that empowered lion, we do manifest miracles rapidly. We do manifest so many things into our life and experience. And whatever level we're manifesting at, it's perfect, because there's always an opportunity. If something doesn't feel comfortable, it's an opportunity for us to grow, right? And transform ourselves through it. And everyone else has that opportunity, and every soul has the opportunity to do that, to say yes. So how do we really cut through all the noise, right? There just seems to be so much noise these days. As a really empathic person myself, always have had to, right, really work on that detachment piece, because um, empaths, before they have healed enough, can really tend to go deep into the suffering and the pain of others and the pain of the pain. And by that, I mean, that's an Archangel Zadkiel um, quote, the pain of the pain. And he talks about this in Sacred Union, The Journey Home, in that beautiful book. And he talks about, compassion's different, right? Empathy, when we are healed, is in that compassion range, when we can look with love, with passion, we can have that connection and that love and that understanding, but we don't go into the hole, right? We don't also just start feeling really bad. And how many empaths and those of us that are here to be healers, it's natural on the journey, before we were conscious enough or had done enough of our own awakening, we'd often ignore our own needs to run and help other people, being the rescuer, right? This is also about transcending the victim triangle, which is square in density, experience, and consciousness. That is the victim, rescuer, abuser. So how many of us would run to try to help other people, and we thought to help other people, we had to feel how horrible it was for them. And this doesn't mean we don't feel, or you don't feel pain for others, but to be in the pain of the pain, as Archangel Zadkiel says, is, if you're like being angry or self-righteous, or grieving really hard with other beings that are in pain, you are just adding more pain to the planetary pain body, which is full. There's so much pain. Every emotion, thought, feeling we ever have emanates from us. So, being in that pain, we are just amplifying exactly what we want to alleviate, So, it's always back to ourselves and healing our own selves and being that model, and then choosing how we support and help others in the world from that aligned space, right? So it's really testing all of our masteries at this moment. We're all walking through moments where there's that invitation to get pulled in, and what your trigger points are, what is likely to grab you, right? And and pull you in. So just be aware and pay attention. Awareness is the greatest thing that we can possibly do. And this is here comes this little lion right now. I don't know if she's gonna try to come up on the keyboard. And yeah, and the noise, this really just struck me, that there's so much noise in the world, and that it's all of this emoting that's going out there. And the only way to not really get messed up from it is to be able to lift into that higher presence, right? While we navigate this form, we're not leaving it behind. We are integrating. We're integrating and coming into greater alignment with our body and soul and spirit. And the noise out there, it's important. Like, this might feel like going back to basics, or maybe it's the first time you've heard it and you're just tuning in. Like, you have to detach from the mainstream media, any news really. Right now you will find out what is happening, but trust me, you need to put that stuff down. It just not only pollutes us, but it's programmed with the energies of fear and anger and mistrust. It's going to stimulate a judgment to come forward. Whatever you see in front of you, there is there to stimulate some kind of judgment. And then you just create a little extra work for yourself. Sometimes you go in, like sometimes there's times where you went in, hey, stuff's been crazy, we're watching it, I got too compelled for a few days, and did I notice that? Did I ever notice that? And then really doing things like putting the focus mode on my phone so that I can't even go and look at anything unless I have to turn it off or whatever. And that creates the incentive to go, oh yeah, that's right, I'm not doing this habit, or just putting it completely away, or is it watching a whole bunch of Netflix or YouTube or something, or scrolling social media, and notice that stuff. And it's to really be aware of where our energy is when we notice we're not feeling quite right. If like you just have that moment where, oh, things just don't feel good, or I'm feeling angry, or I feel sad, or I'm stressed, that's the moment where we start to say, okay, that's like mastery 101. We have the moment to say, I'm going to stop here for a second. Bringing a hand to heart is, that's the beginning. That's the heart, is that root chakra of our ascended being, and how we come into our alignment is awakening in that heart. And to really activate in that heart space, breathing and come back to yourself. Engage the Avesa breath. And really invite yourself into that higher perspective. Like the fifth dimension is that doorway of compassion, and you start to open the lens. It's a wider angle. So you're able to lift up, imagine you're high up and gazing down at what is happening around you. And then it starts to disconnect the emotional charge that's there. And then you really can start employing other practices and techniques. And if you're going through things that are really hard and massively triggering in your life, you're going through a huge transition, have tons of mercy on yourself, because you're doing a lot. We're doing so much. And oftentimes spiritual awakening, it's fraught with those kind of moments of like, are you going to keep going? We're going to be challenged, because the ego is being challenged. And right now, if we're lifting into a higher consciousness, it is having a tantrum until it relaxes into a trust for our soul and ourself. And until that moment, it just is going to put up the biggest fight, because your awakening to the ego means its death. And it really is such a limited picture. Once it realizes that, oh, it didn't die, it's still a part of, the show. It's just serving you to help you navigate this world. You have to have one to navigate this world. But it's not needing to feel so much in control when it has been supported to relax. And sometimes it can take really applied efforts to support it if there's really strong stuff. So, I mean, if you're going through something big, reach out for support, whether you hit me up for a discovery session or you reach out to a body work or whatever you feel guided, or it's getting out in the woods or moving your body, but call out for some kind of support. And, our angels, our guides, our masters, they're all around hanging out, but it's like it's a free will zone. We have free will. They're not going to come and just intervene. We have to ask. And this one, I often have forgotten this one on my journey. I got to do it myself, we get that individualism of the ego piece, right? And forget that we can even ask for that support. It's not supposed to be hard. It can be absolutely easy. So as we want to cut through all this noise in the world, it's really about coming home to ourselves. And even with studying energy healing or spiritual work or coaching or nutrition or any topic of wellness and well-being, there can be a lot of noise there too, right? And it can get overwhelming. So really trust your heart, what messages, what sources support you to feel that uplifted place. You should um, leave feeling after interacting with like a sense of some kind of peace or greater love or expansion. The feelings in your body, and that's why the awareness is so key. Like if you're not feeling right or things are rough, and no judgment, just be aware. What have I been doing with my energy? What have I been consuming? Not just food, right? Like things around us, people, relationships, the energies that we're in. How can I really heal my body right now? Because the body needs to feel safe. If the body doesn't feel safe, the ego's so connected to the body, right? It doesn't feel safe. It's going to be harder. It's just going to be harder. And there are places where you might want to lift in your consciousness that you just can't get to if the body's not feeling right. And hey, I'm always still working on this, right? But it was always been my entry point. Like if we support the body, then we support the spirit. It's so much easier. That was my like happy accident, was, through making a move in my very young adult life to Colorado and living in the mountains and having that high vibration of the mountains, working at a health food store, and things just like happened. I just quit smoking without even thinking about it. I was healthier and happier than ever. Just living there and eating well and being in that energy was so supportive for me that I felt real joy for the first time in my life. And I like deepened so much into my spiritual essence during that time because of that opening of taking care of my body. It was so much easier and a higher elevation, as Shri likes to say, and it's true. There's less density up there. It's a little bit purer vibration. Gravity actually attracts and pulls density towards it. So lower sea level places will be more concentrated with energies of a coarser frequency, which I think is really cool. I always feel like I soar when I go up into the mountains, literally and figuratively. Yeah, so I'm going to give out the phone number. I forgot to do that earlier. If you would like to call into the show, the number is 517-208-1500. Again, 517-208-1500. And call in if you have a sharing, question, would like to request a mini reading. Happy to do that. Always fun. And I'll check back with that in a bit. And yeah, just seeing all the love and stuff going on in the chat. Hi guys. Hi everybody. Much love. Definitely self-ascension stuff happening. Yes, I see people feeling some numbness, pain in the heart, void states. There's so much going on right now. And really, again, it's like relax. Invite the body to feel safe and relaxed. Ascension energy adjustments, things that we feel in our body, in our emotions, in our experience. They can be uncomfortable. They can trigger the mind of density to start questioning and worrying. And the important thing about any of those symptoms is that they're not there to um, freak us out or anything. It's that um, invitation towards wholeness, right? It's an invitation to awakening. So we have that opportunity to really drop in and feel into what this is about and what I'm experiencing. And if it's something, big or uncomfortable, again, get an appointment or something with a practitioner or somebody that can support you working through that. Journal, follow your guidance. You'll be amazed what comes through when we journal, because we move energy to different parts of our brain, and you might enjoy automatic writing, like asking a question and allowing it to fill in and receive. And yes, yes, yes. And oh, yes. So I was just looking at some of the chat going on, and it's hard for me to look at the chat and talk at the same time. I just love everything going on. Um, Wow. Yeah. Dealing with abusive situations. Totally feel you that. Yoga. Hmm. Amazing, right? To be in a cooperative living situation and to be going through that and how to navigate that experience. Not clear if it's still happening for you, but it looks like you had to really move through a lot of fears of confrontation and stepping forward, right? That's like so huge. And I honor you and your mastery in that, because right, Jill was asking about, or I'm sorry, Yoga was asking about, or just explaining her experience of going through this cooperative living experience, and there being abusive energy of somebody projecting in that space. And is who's going to take care of that, and how do you speak your voice, right? And I had an experience like this living in my apartment complex. I lived in an apartment complex from the time I moved back from Costa Rica, which was 2007, so 14, almost 14 years ago. I think 14. Yeah, that would be right. Years ago or so. And I had been living there and had so much awakening and so much experience. And I moved back to Upper Michigan, and I moved to this apartment complex where I lived for the next almost 14 years. And I always thought it was just going to be a brief stay. But for whatever, I know some of the reasons, and some I will continue to figure out. But it was interesting, the dynamics of different neighbors. It was not a very noise proof place. And you could hear other people. And I had that experience where there was really a lot of um, anger, energies of interesting dynamics, and how to navigate that for someone that for me, definitely a habit would be to hide and not speak up or speak my truth, even if I'm really uncomfortable. And it made me have to walk through that experience. So we are going to encounter other beings, right? Whether we're in an apartment, a co-op, or we're just out in the world at the store or something, and there's a being that is projecting a lot of energies out into the world because their own inner state is so disharmonious, and they are probably so anchored in their own victim consciousness, and they might be enacting the role of the abuser or the victim, and they all change around all the time. No one's is really fixed in one of those roles as long as you're playing in density energy. And yeah, it's important to notice what lesson is being presented to us, and the places that make us the most uncomfortable to go is usually exactly where we need to do our growth. And that has always kind of gotten me, that it's like, just where you're so uncomfortable, we're going to make you go there and claim your greater truth and mastery so that you can walk through that fear. And it makes me kind of chuckle. There's so many times I've been like, really, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. I don't want to. But then you're just, resigning yourself. And for as long as you want, it's your choice, to an experience that's less than comfortable and less than what you deserve, frankly, right? So many mastery lessons, so many mastery lessons. So I love that alignment. Yes. No more bypassing those fears of confrontation. I agree totally. Yoga. Yes, you got enlightened. I love it. And, in the spirit of all of the enlightenment energy, today I was so inspired to continue to roll things forward. For me, this year is a big year. Self Ascension Studios is my baby, and it's the temple doors are open. The temple doors are open. I have been, doing the work of self ascension. I have been a healing counselor and medical intuitive and birth doula and doing all of this for, professionally for nearly 8 years. And it's been such a journey. And it feels like things have just been synthesizing and integrating and sprouting in so many ways in the last year that it's taking me myself, my personal journey, just beyond, and I've had to walk through, oh my gosh, the uncomfortable feelings. I call it the tension of new growth, when we really are like, I'm going to level up. It's not friggin' easy. It's not easy, right? If anyone just tells you the path of mastery is easy, they're lying. Yes, things can happen fast and it can be easy. Let it be easy. But there are the moments, if we're going to dissolve egoic blocks and crap like that and break through, we're going to have to walk through those flames of transmutation, and we can allow it to be easier. Definitely, it does not have to be hard, but it's not for the faint of heart. Most people just don't want to even open to the possibility, because it's going to be uncomfortable to own our own shit. Frankly, that's the bottom line, is owning our own shit is hard for a lot of people to do. And recognizing yourself where you still hold that in certain areas, right? And just laugh at it and smile at it. It's just funny to have a personality, be here, be a person, also be dealing with probably all of the other energies that you've taken on through lifetimes, right? So, in the spirit of the temple doors being open, for me, it's so exciting. It's like, wow, I'm really ready to bring back some programs I have created in the past, but they're going to be up leveled for this energy now, this enlightenment energy. It's been all about this for me for years, but the way it's been synthesizing with the Monday magic. And if you're not part of it, go to shriankira.com and learn more. It's super easy to join and so inspiring, between receiving those lessons every week and everything else I've been studied and guided. It's just, yes, this is the alignment year. And then I went and got my cat, and it was really funny because I didn't think I was getting a cat, of course, at that time, but that's what happened. And, I just love that the lion energy has just come in so many different ways that, um, the first thing I really am birthing this year, the first things really, they're all about enlightenment energy. The first things, are two, really. But my personal favorite little project right now that's coming forward in just a couple weeks is the Awakening Heart Sadhana. And I've done sadhanas before. They're really fun. And it takes us on a journey. The ones I've done were 3 weeks. This is going to be 4 weeks, because that energy of perfect balance. 4 weeks starting February 11th. If you go to selfascensionstudios.com, you'll see it in the online events, Ascending Heart Sadhana, or shoot me an email and I'll send you details, and more details will be coming. But February 11th we start, and a sadhana is really all about our spiritual practice. It's about the ceremony of our life, and a sadhana is the intentional way of creating your energy for the day, your energy flow for the day, the week, the month, just that you're setting the intention and you have your spiritual practices. And it might be that you follow a flow for a few weeks, a month, a year, that you focus around a certain intention. There's no really wrong way to do this, because at its core, it's really about our connection to our life as our spiritual practice, and our life as the ceremony, because that's really what our life is. It's what it offers us. Our whole day is our ceremony, and we are in connection with the divine. You know, that's my goal, is to cultivate that connection to the divine throughout everything I'm doing during my day. So focusing on a sadhana, it's not dogmatic in any way. You can really focus on your spiritual growth in the way you want and get inspiration and connection through the yoga of self-ascension during this time, and hang out for some live calls and do practices together and receive support throughout the weeks. Very, very fun to do. And it gives that energy of a community and a group as well that are all on that journey together. So it's all about the empowered alignment. 4 weeks of empowered alignment is what I'm calling it, Ascending Hearts Sadhana. And of course, the other thing is the WWA Global I mentioned earlier, Women Wellness Awakenings. Like, holy cow, the equinox is coming up and we are having our summit. But there's so much more. There's mentoring, and there will be more mentoring opportunities and ways for you to become a mentor yourself. There's the home study, and there'll be more journeys to come. We're just getting started. But this March equinox is going to be huge. And the virtual, if you can't come to be in person, it's going to be at Tosa Blue Mountain, Ecuador. But you can be there online if you can't come in person. And I think we're almost sold out for the in-person, but there might be 1 or 2 seats that are still hanging out there. If you do want to get in and come to Tosa Blue Mountain, it's going to be absolutely fantastic connection with the indigenous and the Kenyari, and healing the heart of humanity, the eagle and condor coming together, the lion empowered coming out of the woods. There is going to be ceremony all weekend long. It's March 19th through the 21st, wwaglobal.com. All one word. Will very shortly be open for the virtual tickets. There will be free live streamed events too, but it's going to be super, super affordable to join us for that. So that is fantastic and amazing as well. So those 2 things are, my first big concentrated efforts and offerings. As the temple doors are open, it is time for me to really up my game even more as I serve as a minister and priestess of self-ascension, and support others who are wanting to come along on this journey, and inspire one another and build community. That's my biggest passion, is building community, and we're a community here. I appreciate every single one of you that is hopping in live on the chat at YouTube, at Facebook, at onenesstalkradio.com, the emails I get, the connections, whether you catch us in the replay. Thank you for being here, because we are coming together and supporting one another, and having this hour every week is so beautiful for me. And if anyone's out there saying, hey, I wanted to call in, the number is 517-208-1500, 517-208-1500. There is a few minutes left still if you want to get in there and join us live and ask a question. And yeah. So I think before we finish today, I felt really called to bring my cards of clarity and pull a few cards and do a little bit of a reading for this time. And I also really had to pull out this quote from last night's Living in Ascended Life, the Mirror Monday Magic series with Shri and Kira. You have chosen to be in this expression, in this carnation now, so that you would have the opportunity to be able to fully align and remember from your divine center. You chose to be here now so that you could fully align and remember from your own divine center. Your own divine center. Oh yeah, and don't forget, February 11th too is the new moon ceremony if you want to get in on that. It's going to be a new moon ceremony and the start of the sadhana. Both are going to happen on the new moon, February 11th. Peak up level. No, that's not a peak up level, but it's an up level day. Illuminated new moon. Powerful day. All the new moons and full moons. Powerful days. So I have the cards of clarity here. my absolute favorite deck ever because it's so accurate. And I feel really called, let's just feel into this right now. Just for what is needing to be received for greater alignment. What is needing to be received for greater alignment? And I'm doing the Exploded Crown spread, which is a 4-card spread. I'm going to do this kind of abbreviated. If I do a full reading, it's usually, half hour to an hour. So I'm really curious because 3 archangels showed up in this off the bat, and it's 4 cards and they form a pyramid, or a diamond rather, and the top point is all about the gateway to your higher self, and they are formed pointing up, a 4-pointed diamond, or the perfect balance if you think about that way, the 4. So Archangel Sophia, there's 3 angels that showed up and 1 benevolent ones. Archangel Sophia is Archangel 10, and this is the gateway to your higher self. And I just feel like she comes in with so much beauty and so much just like a softness, but like a firmness when she comes in. And right now I feel like she's connecting with I'm looking for her actual message because these are completely ensouled without any interference, these messages. And she's giving the message of unity. So the message to the gateway to your higher self. Unity through the love of a pure heart is calling to you in all aspects of your life. Unity through the love of a pure heart is calling to you in all aspects of your life. This is the gateway to the higher self. How perfect is that? Unity. To fully embrace this gift, you must begin with yourself. If you're carrying any judgment about your body, your life, your actions, it's time to honor them with the unifying energy of love. This is not the romantic or false love that is transient. Rather, call forth from within the love that is you, is all, and is ever present. Let this recognition be the catalyst for change and growth. And she's also calling you to stop judging yourself and others. The call to stop judging. You cannot enter the gateway to your higher self while you're holding judgments. So I think that in a nutshell, you can't unify. You cannot if you're holding judgments. So release any judgments you might be carrying, and I feel this is a message that's very timely for right now, whether you're tuning in live or catching this in the recording. This is carrying an energy that's supportive for this greater integration of our mastery. And the message that is seeking integration is the benevolent ones. It's hard to see on this camera. It's a beautiful picture of these clouds, the benevolent ones that showed up. And they always carry such compassion. And this card is actually representative of the energy of benevolence. This is all about what you need to integrate. The energy you need to integrate would be benevolence. Step into the void without hesitancy. You are benevolent energy in action. And to embody this step, you are being asked to release 2 things: limits and judgment. Sense of theme here? The essence of benevolence is kindness, and the intention to only offer kindness is benevolence in action. How can you be kind when you hold limits towards yourself and judgments of others? The first benevolent act you can honestly perform is the one that frees you from the chains of chaos and suffering by walking your path without hesitation. It is the hesitation that is holding the limits. It is the hesitation that is creating the false judgments. It is the hesitation that is creating the false judgments. Be free to be kind. It is, after all, your birthright. Beautiful. And along with that card that works really closely with it is the primary issue that you're ready to accept with ease and flow. Ease and flow. And this is Archangel Raguel. And this picture is from when Tosa was at Lake Atitlan in Guatemala. And this is sunrise on the lake in Guatemala. All the angel cards have that picture. And Archangel 13, Raguel, is coming forward. The issue you're ready to accept with ease and flow. And gotta love all the angels that showed up in this reading. Relationships are surrounding you now. You are being asked to gift yourself with the acceptance that peaceful relationships are your birthright. Peaceful relationships are your birthright. Underline. This is what you're ready now to accept with ease and flow. This is the energy of resolution, and it must begin with you. Again, right? Comes back to ourselves. The relationship that is first to bring you peace is the one with your divine nature in action on this wonderful planet. You are whole with or without a physical partner. It is time to fully embrace your oneness. And the additional message here is you are never, ever alone. You are never alone. You are ready to accept that with ease and flow, that you are never alone. And the greater you can come into this unity and have this benevolence and kindness and release the judgment to step into that gateway of your greater truth, right? If we know we're not alone and we accept that, it's so much easier to release all the judgments and be kind. I love this reading. And Archangel Duma is the final card, which is the bottom point of the reading of the diamond, the exploded crown. This is the primary issue you're ready to resolve. And this is really interesting. The silence is calling you. Within its loving arms are all the answers, and it is time to fully begin claiming this inherent gift that exists within each soul. Through your interaction with silence, the powerful lesson of non-interference will illuminate your life's expression with greater form and presence. Breathe fully every morning and invite silence into every action, every moment. From this space, the truth will unfold with certainty. Words do not serve this situation. Words are a catalyst that often confuse rather than clarify, and there are simply too many words around you. Pay attention to your words and the words of others as they apply to any situation. Often words interfere with the truth that is seeking expression. Begin listening more often, and you will be delighted with the result. And that is what you're ready to resolve, to lift into that portal of non-judgment, to get really silent and be. So grateful for this moment of connecting with the beautiful cards of clarity, because they truly do connect us to the quantum field and a greater wisdom, and just really feeling the blessing and loving the perfection of this reading. Wow. Taking a breath for a moment. I need to take a sip of my tea. Okay. And I cannot believe it, but we are already coming into our close for this afternoon's amazing session of Soul Fusion Cafe, excuse me. Soul Forward Passage is the name of my group program, which will be launching this year. And I always say Soul Fusion Cafe, Soul Forward Passage. Give me a tongue twister. But yeah, stay tuned for that too. Much more to come. The temple doors are open and it's time. So if you want to come on a deeper In-Lion-Ment journey, check out the 4-week sadhana starting February 11th, or just come for the new moon February 11th if you feel called. Check out selfascensionstudios.com and you'll find information. You can contact me, ask me questions too. If you have anything you want to share, or you want a question or a reading to be shared on air too, you can always email me, jess@selfascensionstudios.com. Come back every Tuesday at noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific, for Soul Fusion Cafe here with me, Jess Juntunen. And thank you so much for joining me. Connect with your heart, connect with the truth of who you are, and know that you really are this radiant, masterful being, and the best is here. The best is yet to come, and it's already here. Many blessings and namaste.